Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's The Recapping. Let me undeafen my Discord and say hello to Known Connection. What's up, Known Connection?
Hello, hey, how are you?
Yes, I'm all good. And we're joined, of course, today by a guest, as always. This week it's Soxxes. Very, very happy to have you on. Welcome, Soxxes.
Hi, thanks. Nice to be here.
Yeah, no,
Good.
real pleasure. Let me turn you up a bit to make sure everyone can hear you. So for those of you that kind of don't know, Soxxes is Hazel River is the I suppose like leader basically of the Hilo system. Came up with applying the system to Hell Let Loose and is like very very instrumental in kind of applying the system, making sure that the stats for the teams and the games are set up or are searchable and simulatable. I'm doing a terrible job of introducing you, Soxes, but can you explain to us a little bit what the Hilo system is and what it's all about?
Yeah, the Hilo system is kind of a rating system for teams, clans, players, whatever you want to like to rate or to rank. And I was not the first one with this idea. I mean, it's the main part of this project is based on the work of a guy named Ep8. He invented a similar system for to rank chess players in the 1970s. And yeah, all I did was just adapted this to Hell Let Loose, because one major difference between his and my system is that we rank teams and not individuals or players. Um, yeah, so
So there you go. That's much more eloquent and better than I could put it. But welcome to the stream. I'm very very excited to have Soxes here because, as regular viewers of the stream know, we often cover stats here. We look at the amazing stats brought to us by Abusify, but this is kind of taking that to like a whole new level.
Yeah.
Which I'm really excited about. So, before we get started, just for those people who are new, and just as a reminder to anyone who's joining us again, what we're going to do today is briefly touch on the games that I say briefly touch on. We always spend ages talking about the exciting, awesome games that we've seen, and what a weekend it's been here in Main Stage Round 4. We're going to talk about the games that have been played over this weekend. Then we're going to look at some of the stats. Then we're going to kind of look at what's going to happen in the weekend ahead, and then we're also going to kind of talk with Soxes a bit in depth about some more statistics. Before we get going as well, though, I have a job to do, and that is to model this awesome merch we discussed last time with Logical Lee.
We did.
It arrived in the post, guys. I'm hyped
Show
about
it.
it.
Show it.
Check it.
nice.
Oh,
Oh yes.
I'll take it.
Oh yes.
STDB for the win, yeah? Seasonal
Listen,
win now.
That looks
listen.
awesome.
I will wear anyone's merch. Just make it. I will wear it. Trust me.
Oh, that's
But
fantastic. It's
If we,
actually really nice. It
it's
looks really
lovely.
good.
It's good quality. It's nice. I like the colours. The print's good. Like I haven't washed it yet. I never will. You know, it's touched the hands of STDB real players. So maybe I'll just leave it.
Has it still got its sticker in the hood?
That's it, really. Yeah.
I think
it,
so. I
That's
think
how
that's what we
that's
can
how
see.
fresh it is, guys. Literally saving it for the stream. I didn't want to unbiased casters. Yeah, exactly, bro.
Yeah,
Where's the PHX
fresh.
team shop? Like, I will happily model anybody's gear. Paid promo, bro. I
Hey.
paid for it. This is a bought promo. This is the best kind of promo you can get for your team. So, like I
Uh,
say, open a shop, get your merch going. Like, we'll be wearing the what was that thing from last week? Connection. Blowing his balls. If we can get blowing his
oh,
balls on a fucking
yeah.
t-shirt, guys, I will wear
Oh,
it.
blow his balls.
I will wear
Hey,
that. What's
get
up,
that
bro?
82 AD. Blow. Yeah.
Hey,
Any
hey.
82 AD players right here, tell your community to get me a shirt. Blow his balls. I'll
Yeah,
do that and I'll wear it.
with pride, with pride, guys. I just look forward to the day, and I said this to Connection when I got this hoodie. I look forward to the day when somebody sees this hoodie and they come up to me in public and they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god, is that STDB from Hell Let Loose?" And I'll be like, "Yes, Hell Let Loose, friend. Like this game's sick." And actually
That,
have a real life conversation with somebody that loves this game as much as I do.
it is. I don't know what it's like in other communities, but I know in certainly WTH we have like a map of where people kind of live so we can kind of see where everyone lives. Not that it's like stalking. It's not that
Just to
pinpoints,
clarify,
I know what garage is his, but it's really nice to see that I actually live quite close to one of my nemesis, Gates. I cannot stand him. He's an arsehole. I love him. No, it's really good. We got so much good banter, but it's great to see, from just WTH, at how close we can be. And I know a lot of people have met up. I know that UFR have I believe gone to I believe one of the beaches and met up, and I thought that's
cool.
brilliant. Do you know what I mean? So if it's just different communities still living close, you imagine on a great grand scheme of the whole game, I think that would be even brilliant. So it wouldn't surprise me someone noticing that
One
jump
day,
on.
I'm just literally going out to big cities now, just walking around, just hoping for the best. You know what I mean?
Waiting, and then
Waiting,
their community leader
walking
speaks
with my
to you.
chest out. What, Logical Lee
Ah,
in Birmingham? I'd love to see it.
yeah, there you go. You never know. Come on a holiday for some
Yeah, you're
shopping.
welcome. Come down Brighton, Lee. We'll hang out.
Oh,
But yeah, so like shout out to obviously SCDB for the merch, but like shout out to all the communities and everybody as always for like making this game like what it is, making this tournament what it is.
yeah.
I'm sure we'll say this like throughout the whole thing, but like you guys are the life and soul. So
The bread and butter.
the bread and butter. Oh, the other thing is thanks as always to Das Alberg for that sick trailer as well, because trailer's always
Yeah.
dope. I love the bit where they all like go into the breeze now, because obviously this weekend we've lost a whole bunch more teams,
Yeah.
and their logos like disappear into like nothing. I love the guy that jumps off the bridge at Purple Heart Lane and just drowns, like instantly drowns, and you just see his
Can't
face.
hack it anymore.
Yeah.
No, it's really nice.
Yes. So, but without further ado, let's get into kind of discussing the games. So, over here on the previously on page, hopefully this will work and I can actually do this kind of live for you, and we can like cross out the teams who we've seen. This might work. This might not work. Let me see. There's a moment's lag. Yes, it does work. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we can kind of mark out who we've lost. So this week, obviously, we have been watching the games in the 2-1 and the 1-2 bracket. Last week, we saw Core and What the Hell go through to the playoffs. As you can see there on the 3-0. So if you win 3, you go through. If you lose 3, you go out. So we also saw some teams go out. We saw UFR and Hell Let Loose Poland leave the contest after some good fights, some difficult battles, but unfortunately for them, they lost 3, so they're out. This week again, of course, though, with the 2-1 and the 1-2 brackets, that gives 3 teams the opportunity to go 3-1, and if you win 3, you go through into the playoffs. And it also gave 3 teams the unfortunate, prospect of losing their third one and going out of the tournament. And sure enough, we've got 3 through and 3 out. So we'll start with the 2-1 bracket, shall we? The guys who've had more success, let's say, so far during the tournament. With the first game of those that you can see here being the Trigger versus 82 AD game. And normally when we talk about these, we kind of talk about the public vote. So this was a game that was on Saint-Marie du Mont. Trigger were Axis, 82 AD were Allies, or Trigger were Germans, and 82 AD were USA. What was the public vote connection on this one?
116 to Trigger and 63 to 82 AD.
Okay. Well, I can reveal that those who voted for Trigger were correct. They did win. It was a 4-1 in the end, a very, very hard fought 4-1. It looked like 82 AD might come back to make it a 3-2 in the end, or 2-3 from their perspective. But Trigger, like Dugout was a center point. So as I mentioned before, Trigger with the Axis. Dugout as a center point really does favour the Axis. You're at the top of a hill, you get there quicker, you're looking down over quite coverable approaches and open fields basically that the Allies have to push up, and they took it first, which is not necessarily a surprise. And then they basically so it's Cattle Shed's the next point, and they just kind of like ground it out. Anybody who's played Trigger knows that they will just kill you over and over, get killed over and over, and just grind and grind and grind. And they did exactly that to push right up to cattle sheds. You know, they got a nice front line going. They got flanks going on both sides. The map of Samarita's a bit of a weird one. Like if you kind of look straight up on the map, it's more like northeast, but they came from sort of the northwest, as it were, from that side, and really from the east, and kind of east southeast from the right and left as you're looking at the map. They pushed right from the bottom of the map, and really just surrounded the point there. And they basically had like some tank advantage, really, like in terms of their tank squads. They really kind of made them count and helped with that infantry push. It helped them to keep the pressure up, and eventually, with the help of a Lux and a Tiger inside the point at cattle sheds, it did pay off, and they did capture cattle sheds, taking them to that 4-1 position. They pushed like crazy on Winter's Landing for absolutely ages, but 82 AD kept a good defense, and even, like I said before, right at the end of the match, 82 AD were going to recap cattle sheds. They all got inside the point, and really like a nice bombing run, some really good defending from Trigger at the end. Like they couldn't make it back to that 2-3 or 3-2, but a real sweaty game that went the whole distance, that one. So fan favourites, Trigger, through to the next round, which is for them the playoffs. So they went 3-1, and 82 AD going into our week 5 games next week coming up, which we'll discuss shortly. Then Blacklist STDB. Again, like we've had some absolutely phenomenal games this weekend, because this one was an absolute belter as well.
That looks good.
Yeah, Quicknix and Lapino, I should say, actually, as well. If you want to go catch the Trigger 82 AD game, check out Soul Raver 15 and Minga on Bilibili if you want to catch that in Chinese. So go check them out. You can see their links through the Discord. Hopefully, and you might, if you can test this out for me, Connection, if you type !Discord in the chat, it should come up with a link to the Hell Let Loose seasonal Discord.
It does indeed.
Sweet. Okay, cool. So pop over there. You can click on the games, see like who was casting. But for the Trigger and 82 AD, it was Soul Raver 15 and Minga. So go check them out. Then to the Blacklist and STDB, it was Quicknix and Lapinu who casted that one. That was on Sam Merrick-Lees. And what was the public vote on that one?
131, which was our highest vote, to 50, which was our lowest vote.
Okay, so that was to Blacklist, right?
Sorry, yeah, 131 to Blacklist, 50 to STDB.
Okay, so I mean, those of you obviously who've been watching, which is probably most people in this audience, I would think, who've been watching the whole time, you'll know STDB, they have come a long, long way from being back in the qualifying stages all the way through to like this level of the tournament, and it's not like they're fighting to stay in it last week or the week before. You know, they've been really playing well. They had a great game in that first round of the main stage that they won against UFR. Then they lost against What the Hell, but I mean, who doesn't? And then they beat Fins Let Loose to push Fins Let Loose into the 2-1, one of the teams that we'll cover in a minute. So they've played really, really well in that qualifier. I don't think they even lost once. And then they've come through to the main stage and played so well for what's, you know, their first seasonal really by themselves. Like it's a fantastic performance. But yeah, so they play Blacklist on Samurai Glees. The Hospice was the middle point, and I think that STDB would have wanted to cap it early and just try and sit on it, but unfortunately they didn't manage to, and Blacklist got there quicker. You know, we saw some crazy stuff as well. You know, anyone who plays you know, this kind of level, you know that you can get up onto those roofs at Hospice and up onto the chimneys and stuff, and you can be sniping people off the top there with a machine gun and stuff. So we saw all of that. We saw even STDB kind of copying. I don't know if they copied the exact shot, but like they used a tank to snipe the artillery. I should say actually as well, I believe that Core also, I don't know if they used a tank to snipe artillery in the, not Core, Trigger, sorry. I think they used rockets. Like once they captured cattle sheds, they were using rockets to kill guys on the artillery. But the whole game, SCDB had a tank set up that had basically a sniping shot straight to the artillery, and like really did a lot to hamper the blacklist artillery guys. But they had basically a war over cemetery. That's what it can only be described as. Those of you familiar with the map, you know that there's kind of some buildings up to like the east or the north cemetery, and that's like the key area. Blacklist pushed into that area, I don't know, 4 different times. There was a point when Blacklist had an OP inside of cemetery, and I don't know, twice, 3 times maybe. I don't know. It's maybe like one of my top moments of the tournament is like the whoever this crew member was or crew of this Stewart just driving in and just shooting every single person
Nice.
in the point, outside of the point, just like driving round that cemetery, the walls of cemetery, just firing every time they'd reload it, just firing more HE into the walls, and it just was killing and killing and killing all these people, allowing them to push back in. Like they did this just crazy over and over defending of cemetery there. You know, sick bombing runs, nice artillery. This Stewart going absolutely crazy, like pushing all the time from that cornfield. There's like the stalks of corn down in that field below the cemetery, and they're pushing from there with their garrison SCDB. And yeah, just relentless. Like I say, it was a war, and I know this is a war game, but that was it. That was hell let loose right there on cemetery.
Yeah.
And SCDB again, like you know, it wasn't like they, even though they came close to losing it a couple of times, like they still had that drive, and they did try to take back Hospice a couple of times, like quite convincingly. But I mean, Blacklist, very very good defense. They run like quite a a deep defense. They've got a good use of garrisons and OPs, and basically a garrison. So there's that lane, isn't there? Like above the field, like coming from the Axis side, there's that lane above the field by Hospice, where you kind of it's like the one spot that you can kind of get to really that's got any cover, and then you got the
Yeah.
cornfield over the road there, or the wheat field over the road. And they pushed this lane, SCDB, I don't know, 2-3 times towards the end of the match. And Blacklist, they had a garrison near it, and like just in the perfect place that it would ping and like give them enough time to send people up there and defend it. And they defended it so well. In the end, SCDB, like in the last few minutes, they managed to kind of get actually over to the wheat field and destroy the garrison that was in the wheat field as well, and was still pushing Hospice. But yeah, in the end, great game. Was a 3-2. Blacklist, one of the strongest teams in the tournament. SCDB doing a fantastic job playing against them, but Blacklist through to the playoffs with their 3-1.
So it was a very tough game.
Very tough game. Very tough game. And you said it was the highest. Blacklist was the highest public vote.
Yes, it was.
And SCDB was the lowest. And it was a 3-2, guys, over an hour and a half. Like that's. It's over. Well, it's nearly 3 times, isn't it? Like the public vote there, signifying a difference of what, like a few choices here and there, like a couple key kills, some like key defenses, some key attacking moments. Like these teams at this level in the tournament are so tight that those public votes, they don't even really like quite encapsulate like how you know, you can pick like black or white, but the shade of grey here is like crazy. It all comes down sometimes just to like which points. You know, I mentioned before about Trigger getting dug out on Saint-Marie du Mont. Real good point for them as the Axis.
STDB, fantastic team. But I do think Blacklist will reach the semi-finals, depending on how it will work out in the playoffs. Either if they don't, fall into WTH or Core, I think, or even if they beat one of them, I do think they're either semi-finals or pushing final. I'm not too sure. Maybe that was a long shot for the final bit, but definitely I can see them in and around semi-finals.
I love SCDB as well, and they are my absolute favorite team. But we all thought this was gonna be a quick game, but they proved us wrong. Really strong game. But SCDB have been improving their style of playing for the last month, and I love to watch their games. I love to actually play against them, and I think they have such a strong willpower. You know what I mean? You can't break them. It's like, I don't know, it's like a beast.
Yeah.
They turn on beast mode every game. So I remember a game we played against them, and we destroyed their complete artillery defense. But yeah, they managed to build it up again and again and again.
They don't stop.
They don't stop.
Yeah, I remember Hergon Forest STDB versus WTH, and
Oh yeah, that friendly that we covered.
yeah, it
Oh
was
my
just a
God.
friendly, and WTH took the 3rd point from a transport truck going down straight away. So they capped the first one. Then they went over to the 4-1, and then WTH pinned them down into the top left point. And when you're pinned in, when you have 2 recon teams solely on the RT, and then everyone constantly pushing that top point, they still held the game for about a good 50 minutes
They
until the end.
had garrisons built behind them in their HQ spawn, like 3
Yeah.
different occasions, and still were getting pinched from both sides and killed everybody, destroyed the garrison,
Yeah.
and like remounted their attack like 3 times. It's crazy.
No matter what you think of STDB, you have to go in with it's going to be tough.
It's gonna be
Probably the
so tough.
toughest game. Yeah. Because of that they do not give up. But
Yeah.
I can't. Blacklist obviously showed their experience, didn't they?
Yeah, Blacklist's been around a while in the form of the five Hive. So, and they've got the guys from Arc with them as well, who are absolute killers. So, and also, I mean, it wasn't the same points, but like literally the week before, Blacklist had played against Core, or 2 weeks before, because we had our break over Easter. But 2 weeks before, they played Core on San Meriglise, and they played the Axis as well. So it's kind of like they almost had like a practice run on that map as their last game against arguably the best team in the tournament, or certainly one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the tournament. So they had that bit of practice. Like I say, it wasn't the same points. They got 4-1 by Core, and they beat SCDB 3-2, but still, like, that shows like the level that SCDB are at. But also Blacklist. So okay, so then on to the next one. Just to remind you again, that was Quicknix and Lappy New who cast that one. So again, exclamation mark Discord or exclamation mark seasonal. I think they both work in the chat, and you can
Just a question mark Discord.
Say again.
Oh, seasonal. Soxxes just done it.
Perfect. Yeah, perfect. So jump over there, check out the games. I just want to catch from chat here as well. I can see SCDB's tanks saved that cap twice. Indeed, absolutely. Kudos to them. Like, fantastic. They received bunches of medals for that, says Morva Feltrin. So yes, I can see why. Like, go watch that game, guys, because I don't have a clip of it for you in the clip section today. I will reveal that, but like, it's worth watching just for that, because my God, they just drove like round and around and just blew up everyone. And it gave time for the team to get back, which was awesome to see. So go check that out. Next one, ESPT, OP, BHB, and The Line. So I casted this one on the side of The Line, who were playing Allies, and Guderian was casting the ESPT side, the Axis. That was over on Samaru Dumont, and what a blinder as well. These other 2 games, like, they went the full distance, they were absolute savage. This one as well, when the full distance was absolutely savage. Well, I say the full distance, there was like 20 seconds left by the time it was a 5-0. But it was a 5-0 to ESPT, OPBHB. That was hard earned. In terms of the public vote, what did people think of this one ahead of time?
100 to the ASPT BHBOP and 61 to TL.
Okay, so TL, like, not necessarily the favourites there, but interesting because I think somebody ran the simulation over in the Hilo Discord, and TL maybe had a numerical statistical advantage actually over ESPT. From what I remember, I only glanced at it, but a great game, like an American USA, well, not just USA, Canada, like an American derby, right? Like both teams really kind of pushing that American hell let loose standard right up there to compete with the EU teams, to compete with those the Eastern teams. So like real great game. And ESPT OPBHB losing last week to What the Hell, the Line winning in a blinder against 116, the Greyhounds. Both teams very, very strong coming into that one. The Line off a great win over 116, and ESPT OPBHB coming in from a loss and a 5-0 loss to What the Hell, but with some ideas of like strats and stuff that they were going to play, I guess, that we saw again this week that actually paid off this week. So the middle point on that one was AA Network. So anybody, as soon as you say AA Network, everybody just knows artillery is going to be wild. It's one of the most even points on that map. The allies, so the Line, have a kind of advantage, like out over the hills to the what would it be, like northwest, and they also kind of probably have some advantage over to the other side. There's like a wheat field that's close to the point where they can build a garrison and things like that, and it gives them a bit of cover to move up, and it's quite hard to defend against, because when you're trying to shoot people out in the wheat field, there's only a couple of holes in the hedge, and so all the people in the field need to do is aim for where those holes in the hedge are, whereas you just have to cover the whole field. So they do have some advantages there, but the Axis, so ESPT OPBHB, having a good approach to the point. They can kind of keep close to the buildings and use the road and the bushes as cover there, and we saw that in the game early on when they were using the bushes as really, really great cover for their Panzer IV tank. And there's it was like a tank game. It was crazy. Like every time we cover the stats on the recapping here, we always talk about the Line's tankers and how great they are. ESPT OPBHB won the tank game. Like it was an absolute, like on both sides, absolute killer tank game. And when ESPT played What the Hell the previous week, we saw 3 Tigers on the field. Again, we saw 3 Tigers on the field this time.
Nice. Yeah.
And this time they lasted, and they were there for so long and causing so much problem. So it was AA Network with a real cheeky little tank snipe again on the artillery, this time from the Line, and I didn't even see it. So I'm like casting their team, and where this tank is like off the map almost. So I didn't even see it, like way back in the HQ spawn, but they were hammering the artillery of ESPT OPBHB for the whole game. Unfortunately, they had to go reload just at the moment when they'd literally just capped AA Network. So the Line took AA Network. Then after, I actually think that the initial fight over AA Network was one of the best I've ever seen. It was like 25 minutes or something stupid. They finally took the point. They had spawns inside. They'd smoked it out. They had, like I say, they had OPs inside, but that was the very moment when that tank on the arty snipe had to go reload. So then the arty just opened up on them. Smokes the other way, artillery the other way, really hurting them. Allowed ESPT to kind of move up with some nice tanking, like I said, and retake that point. It was one of those games where it's like a flow game, like the backwards and forwards, and they kind of, it was like an attack on the next point at Rue de la Gare, then it was another attack back on AA Network, then another attack on Rue de la Gare, then back on AA Network. It was so hard to cover because like they're literally on like a cap race, like the entire time, like one to the other. But in the end, ESPT kind of like, they went with that flow the best. They managed to get like a nice kind of creeping flank out from cattle sheds to the left as you look from like the Axis lines, and they really they kind of made it count in the end with the 3 Tigers. They put tanks inside the point, which is really powerful because it's 9 capping power basically inside of a fortified gun turret. Like that's huge, and they managed to get tanks inside the point, both at AA for the defense and also on the attack at Rue de la Gare. But fantastic from them. Like they literally managed to get a spawn up inside Rue de la Gare, and they were like killing the allies as they were trying to push in. that's never a position you want to be in. Like when you're losing the cap on your point and you're having to like get in there because they're basically defending it against you.
Yeah.
And ESPT did a great job of that. And like I say, then it was the three tiger situation, and that lasted for some time. I think it's fair to say. And
Well, Berger says the Tia will hold on to it for like 45 minutes. Looking at the chat.
yes, so that's the final point. The barn was the last point, and the line held on to that with literally so much pressure against them. So they had three tanks in front, three Tiger tanks in front, and squads of infantry. Then they were getting flanked like so close, within like 120 meters, by Shaka Zulu, etc. Like literally just hammering them. I don't know how they managed it, but every single time they're managing to like respawn like a whole nother bunch of guys to come in, defend it. Like they defended it like 2 or 3 times, and in the end they literally got all the way back to Rue de la Gare and were in a cap race in the last seconds of the game, and that was how it ended. Like the cap race between those 2 points, Barn and Rue de la Gare, and ESPT won it by like 10 seconds. Like it was crazy, and that's within the last minute of the game. I think it was in the last 20 seconds of the game or something crazy like that. And even up to like 4 or 5 minutes left in the game, you've got the line defending like crazy at the barn. They've got guys pushing up and flanking around to try and cap at Rue de la Gare, like all the way around the back of it, trying to push in and getting in there. And Love Squad from them did a great job of trying their very, very best to get in there. And I think it was Taco Tastic, the squad leader, trying to get in there and like hold on to that. And they already had supplies and a recon squad leader over at AA Network waiting. That's the confidence. Like 4 minutes left in the game, they're like, hey, we can defend with like half our guys. Let's send the other half up to go and win this point back and leave a dude up there to win. If they'd done that, if that had come off and they got a 3-2 on that game, it would maybe be like the best game of Hell at least I've ever seen. Like it was insane. Like the 3 Tiger tanks, I can't even describe to you. Like that push from Rue de la Gare to the barn is just open fields, and it's like they were just devastating. Like there was just nothing that you could do basically. I think they managed to take out one who got a bit kind of greedy and pushed up a bit too far, but still, then there was just 2 Tigers instead of 3, and then a Panzer IV rolled up as well, kind of thing. So just absolutely crazy. Incheon with the absolute Chad airheads just like dropping them like next to the barn, like just trying to crush people with that 5-0, but somehow it took them the whole game. And I feel like the line, they could have easily defended off for a 4-1, but like I say, they just went for it full aggression in the end and tried to
a win's
get
a
the
win. It doesn't matter what the score is, so you might as well go for it.
Yeah, Berger says we weren't able to find or destroy that one garrison in the trench by the barn until near the end. Yeah, that was what saved them. But yeah, like absolutely fantastic.
Sounding at how the game went, I think it's obviously when you're in a public game and you've got that tight game, your heart like kind of beats. To have that in a competition, you must be almost close to a heart attack.
I know.
And for viewers that have just watched this an hour and 20 minutes, 25 minutes, just for the last 5 minutes, they've obviously watched a little bit longer because of the pre-stream. That's good for the teams, to get through that, and they're still fighting. But boy, does it make a big impact on the people that watch it, because it's like a really, really big reward. It's like, oh my god, how's it going to end?
They're still fighting right to the end.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that about this format as well, like where we've got the different format this time to last seasonal, and there's more teams. The games are a lot more even because of this like 3 in your through, 3 in your out type of format. Like it works so well, and it gives us these tight games all the time. Really interesting, exciting to watch. Like yeah, there's the odd steamroll here and there, especially like right at the start or whatever, but like or right at the start of the main stage, but like there hardly any are easy. Like even when you're talking about 5-0, it's like you say 5-0 and people think, oh, they got
Their arse handed them.
destroyed. Yeah,
Yeah.
not at all. Like ESPT, OP, BHB against what the hell, 5-0 in the 2-0 window. They didn't get destroyed.
No, it was a good game.
You
Sorry,
said the
Soxxes.
Hilo system saw a slight advantage for the line, right?
Well,
I think
maybe. I only glanced at it.
Yeah, I think the reason for this is that the Delicious Three, as Schmitz Katze called them, are extremely underrated at the moment. They are
Yeah.
one of the strongest teams in the world, in my opinion.
I totally agree, and I thought they were going to beat what the hell, to be honest, in the last round.
Yeah.
I called that out like 3 or 4 times on the recapping.
Yeah, could have been possible. Yeah,
and
definitely.
yeah, I mean they're through obviously from that win that they just had, but at the same time, like I'd never doubted them for a second. Kind of like the only reason they weren't through last week is because they were up against what the hell. I feel like, or even then, like they could have won. Like and they did. I think what was it? Is it ESPT and OP? Were they 5th last time? Something like that. Like they were a real high finishing team in the last tournament. Now they've got BHP as well, or BHB, sorry, as well, and yeah, they're just so hungry. Like you can see from Incheon's airhead at the end, like just dropping them like 20 meters away from the enemies. Just like let's crush them. Like the hunger is there, and that's NA versus NA. Imagine how much they want to crush European teams who've been taking them for granted for a while. Like I think they're one of my favorites to win the tournament. To be honest, like they're so good. ESPT, OP, BHB.
Ooh.
They're so good.
Are you saying that with your STDB jumper? Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, like my team's already out, mate. So, but we'll cover that in a minute. What are people saying in the chat here? Incheon, we embrace that underdog role. Yeah, bro. Like people, they need to realize and wake up that you guys are not the underdogs. Like, like doing their research and like what was it against? Who was it they played? Oh, that it might have been against What the Hell. It's against What the Hell in that last game when Lapinu right at the start. So there's this new meta, isn't there? Like tank shots on the artillery.
Yeah.
ESPT had watched the What the Hell tank shot setup and set
it.
up an AT gun within the first like line, and was shooting them like straight away. Just destroyed that whole strat. Like they're not an underdog. Like
they will do their learning. They'll do their research.
Yeah, Soxxes says in chat, top tier. So yes, like absolutely. And going through. So I forget, what was the public vote on that one?
100 to ESPT, BHB, OP, and 61 to TL.
Yeah, well, they were right. Sometimes public are wrong, but they were right again on this one. So they're 3 for 3 at the moment. Yeah, so this week's teams that have gone through, as you can see, Blacklist, ESPT, OP, BHB, and Trigger.
And that's from the 2-1 sector.
2-1 bracket, yeah. And then those teams that have lost, they're not out. 82 AD, STDB, and the Line. They go through to the 2 and 2 games to stay in it or to go out next week. So they'll again be great games. I can see them already on my screen what they are, but we'll talk about them in a minute. But they're going to be absolutely cracking games as well.
I honestly cannot wait for the playoffs, and you know, this tournament has just been epic. It's been great. Every single game. You cannot say that there was a poor game to be watched from what we've seen in the tournament so far. And it's just, we haven't even hit the iceberg yet. We're about to get to the playoffs where the
best of the best.
The best, yeah, the best of the best. I want to say that in the nicest way, you know, because there's some great teams that have gone out, but you know, it just goes to show we're still yet to get into that playoffs. Still got one more week, and then we're hitting it.
Morva Felschen says NA All Stars, French All Stars, European All Stars, and some German team will play for the crown this seasonal.
And it's not STDB apparently to Burger.
Yeah, and then hopefully after that we'll have a Ryder Cup. Okay, that's what I want out of this. Like I want the NA teams to be sick. You know, I want the South American teams to get even better, and then I want this like, you know, Europe versus America's Old World versus New World Ryder Cup type tournament. I think that would be sick. So yeah, now on to the 1 and 2 games. Connection.
Yeah, so I looked over all of these games. So the first one was PHX Phoenix taking on 501 and Bastardo Boys 2. It was 83 to Phoenix and 66 on to 501. That was for the public vote. Phoenix did win 4-1, and it was on Hill 400. I believe it was Daz Alberg and oh, you're going to kill me there on that one. It was Daz Alberg and MC Pimmel streaming these ones. 501 actually had a good start. You know, I believe it was the middle point, which I believe is still called Hill 400. They capped it first at around 1 hour 23 minutes. So just taking about 5 minutes to cap it, but Phoenix still had a lot of enemy presence in and around the cap point. But Phoenix did try to keep constantly coming back. They did start to cap at around 1 hour 10 minutes, constantly pushing up into Hill 400, but getting pushed back by the 501 Bastardo boys. At one point around that mark, there was a double bombing run, you know, which was great. But nothing really happened out of those. You know, no one really countered. No one really had an advantage of that double bombing run. So 501 continued to defend. Phoenix trying to, you know, work their way back up into the hill, finding some sort of maneuver around that point, because it is really difficult to get into 501 if it's held, you know, at all angles, you know. But Phoenix came back at 1 hour 4 minutes to support a big push that came from the north. There was an airhead that landed. They only had maybe 3, maybe 4 people spawn on that at the time, and then it got taken down. But once that north push got wiped out, they reverted and straight away came back from the south. You know, they were both pushing from both angles, but with that north pushed out and down, they all came from the south and pushed into the point. They were constantly attacking and defending, intense battles, but Phoenix did cap. Took them a while at 57th minute, so they were leading now 3-2. Phoenix went straight on to the next point for the double cap. They led the cap race. 501 tried to cap back to the third. The capping race kind of flipped. You know, Phoenix were leading it, but then 501 took charge of it. He capped about 80%. This was kind of straight after Phoenix capped, but with the push onto the fourth from Phoenix got denied. They managed to come back and defend, and 501 managed to cap about 80% before they got pushed back. So it was still 3-2 at that point.
Yeah.
Phoenix were continuously trying to push on the fourth, but really just struggled to get anywhere close. Around 43rd minute, on the fourth point, Phoenix were capping it, even though that 501 had tons of blueberries in a round. But 501 not wanting to give that second point up, and they continued to defend, still 3-2. 501 managed to have a tiny bit of a cap in around the 25th minute mark, only managing to get 10 minutes. So basically from the time that they lost it around the 57th minute, they didn't really get back into Hill 400. It was all about that second point, holding that one down, and they really held it down for a very, very long time. But they just gave up, or Phoenix got the better, and they managed to solidify a cap where they actually capped it 2 minutes 46 minutes left. You know, so they won it 4-1, or they confirmed their win right at the end. 2 minutes 41 minutes left, and they led 4-1 on that point. A fantastic game. Really, really looked tough down there as well. I wouldn't want to be on it. Some good tanking play as well. We see tanks running away from each other because they've got a load of infantry, tanks pushing each other. And we even saw tanks on Hill 400, so which was great to see. We don't really see that much quite often, but great play between them two and good game.
Nice.
I mean, tanks on hill.
Let me get my.
Sorry, say that again.
And I mean, tanks on hill is always a good thing, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
If you can get a tank on hill,
Yeah.
I think I think Gar thinks. I think this is the last one that we've done on the Scotland battle.
Yes.
I think we did Hill 400. I might be wrong, but I remember seeing like a light tank and a medium tank on Hill 400, and my God, was it difficult?
Yeah, I remember the exact game. They just sat inside the point there.
Yeah.
You know, they can drive through the barbed wire, but you can't get at them through the barbed wire. The barbed wire is like clipping loads of your rockets and everything, and they just sit there and mow you down with a machine gun.
And if you've
Just
got
use
repair
HE on the
station in
trees.
there, and with the amount of capping power they have as well. So if you've got a tank and you've got 2 tanks in there, you're absolutely laughing. But yeah,
18 capping power with high explosives and 2 machine guns, or 4 machine guns.
But yeah, great game between those two. But yes, Phoenix did come out on top, and that means that is the first team to go out of the 501 and ES, and the Bastardo boys do go home, and they've probably already packed their bags.
I'm just thinking of them in their own homes in Spain with bags packed, like.
Yeah.
But the public vote. Oh, sorry, Soxxes. Yeah.
Drinking some gazpacho.
Some cold
sangria
soup
as well.
Yeah, sangria.
Hilarious. So yeah, public vote there. 83 to Phoenix 66.
Yes.
To 501st. Public right again with the 4-1 result on Hill 400 there.
We've seen. Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, like, they hate it when they're right all the time.
Yeah. They've only actually got maybe a handful wrong.
Yeah.
On what we've seen since we've done this. Maybe 2 hands, maybe 6 or 7 out of, I don't know how many games we've played, ridiculous amount. But it does look like our teams do know what they're, the community do know what they're talking about. But fantastic. We do go on to Greyhounds taking on FFL Finland. That was my game. I streamed that with KPT Toxic, fantastic streamer. So go see him if you've missed his part of the stream. That was on quarantine. 116 had the best start that they could probably have asked for. 116. It was town centre as a middle point. Sorry, the votes for that. Sorry, was 108 to Greyhounds to only 59 for Finn Let Loose. So a big gap between the points in terms of the vote system. But Greyhounds had a fantastic start on town centre. Artie, there's that main road coming from the Allies straight into into the town centre, and they managed to get their truck just as it was about to enter town centre, and kaboom, Artie hit directly on it, that really just pushed the Axis straight into town centre and pretty much capped it without any hindrance. So they capped that at 1 hour 24. 116 straight away pushed straight out onto derailed train. But while they were doing that, while they were just making sure that they got that town centre, they had 2 teams. One went in and around halfway through the red zone in the map, and then one went down south, and they both put a garrison up on both sides. So they're red garrisons when they were built. And they used that to attack derailed train. So if you think they capped it at 1 hour 17 minutes, that's how quick 116 pushed out on the game. Yeah. So Finn Let Loose was 4-1 down in if you think about it, in 11 minutes, you know,
Yeah, that's
because of
crazy.
the 2-minute gap down. So we know that 116 was planning that. Get straight out of there, get the garrison, boom, let's go. Finn let loose, push back. Well, they constantly, throughout the whole game, were trying to push back. Greyhounds made it extremely difficult for them for the entire game. The map control was really good. The tank placement, you know, around the map was even better. 116 had numerous times to capture that last point at 50 which is kind of the middle point at Quarantine. Finn let loose was doing a fantastic job defending. You know,
That's a
they didn't
horrible
want to
point
go.
to defend as well.
It is. It's probably the worst one to have. Um, but 116 tried to put some garrisons down behind it. Tried to put an airhead down. But Finn let loose was just absolutely not giving up. And this is how quick they wanted it. When they capped that one at the rail train at 1 hour 17, I cannot remember the player's name, but he was a recon spotter and he was already in the building at 50 That's how quick they wanted to win that game. But they got pushed back and pushed back. Um, but Finn let loose found their spark. You know, they were struggling to push back the Greyhounds, but they found it at the 40-second mark, minute mark. They managed to cap the point at the railed train, but they didn't even have time to get a garrison up before 116 took it back at 39 minutes. So bearing in mind, it only
Wow,
takes
so it's
2 minutes
3
to cap.
minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. So they had literally 1 minute worth of their second point before Greyhounds were already capping it back. So extremely difficult for Finn let loose. You know, they really, really tried their best, but the Greyhounds map control was just second to none. They had Finn let loose had one other opportunity to kind of cap that second point back. They managed to cap about 50, maybe 40, 45% of it, but that was it, you know, and they really, really struggled. 116 for the win, with 10 minutes remaining, finally capped that fifth point. And I have to say, you know, from what we saw, it was rightly deserved. You know, they were the best one from the beginning, but you cannot knock Finn let loose for their defense and for their attitude towards the game. It was fantastic. They could have given up so quickly at the beginning, but they came back and they tried, and they lasted an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah, nice. I mean, that's a really interesting one because obviously, Fins Let Loose won when the teams were the other way around on Carentan before in like a really
Yeah.
kind of nail biter. But they also they lost against Blacklist in the first round or I forget, is it the second round? Let's see, first round of the main stage,
Mm-hmm.
and that was one where they were on Samaragles and they got early capped on. Well, it was touch and go in the middle point and then the second point, and they thought, oh well, we can just like quickly counter offensive and win back the point, and ended up getting kind of steamrolled on their last one by Blacklist. So I guess this is the thing about Fins Let Loose, like they learn every time, you know, and it's interesting to see them like change and adapt, and they've obviously got like a pretty good falling back and defensive kind of doctrine now. Obviously, if they're able to keep that, what's that middle point called on Carentan? I forget again.
Town
Town
centre.
center.
No, the middle point of the back that they were defending for that all that time.
5 start.
Yeah, that is so horrible because it's so close to the line that the enemies can get to you super quickly. They've got like 3 different ways to get through the buildings. They've got all of that space behind and the bushes and the fields and everything for red zone Garys, for the airheads, all the rest of it. So to be able to keep that after getting surprised probably by like a 4-1 situation early on, to get back and to defend that well and be able to launch attacks out of it, like I mean, you know me, I'm like Fins Let Loose, butt kiss boy, super fan. But like, you know, fair play to them. Like, I love watching them grow as a team and learn and stuff. So it's awesome that they're able to defend like that now. After only just a few weeks ago, they struggled so hard against a similar situation. So
Soxxes, did you see anything on that game?
No, nothing to add
No?
on this one.
Okay. And then we go on to the EG taking on Trirex over at Foy, EG being the Allies, Trirex being the Axis. This was the closest in terms of the votes between the two teams. Only 7 votes were
That's
the difference.
crazy.
85 to EG and 92 to Trirex. So Trirex were the favourites according to the public votes, but it wasn't that way. It wasn't. Trirex straight away into West Bend. One of probably I'd probably say the least favourite of it, especially if you're coming from an Axis perspective, because it's very difficult for you to capture West Bend if you haven't got it. But Trirex being Trirex managed to get straight into West Bend. They actually capped the first bit, but what EG were doing is they were looking to go more around. They wanted to take that little town area on the middle of the part of the map because they know that that's very important. So if you
Yeah,
don't
that
give that
like
up,
village on the main road.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. So if you can control that, and then obviously control kind of where that border of the blue zone is, you've got a good strong opportunity to take that back, and it really helps with their EG second point, which I believe to be called Highway.
Yeah.
Highway
Yeah,
Road,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So having 2 points like that, so close, really did help with the Allies EG push. EG has some great garrisons on the highway, so they had him all the way flanking. So if anyone tried an airhead or tried to flank, they were instantly notified. It basically was only the commander defending. Half the team were over in the village, half the team were trying to push through that forest over into West Bend. At one point, at 1 hour 18 minutes, EG were capping the point, even though that they were nowhere near it. They were in the forest and in the village. They managed to push or entice Trirex out of the cap or of their circle, and they were capping it. I don't know how that was possible, but they actually had no one anywhere near it while they were capping. And they got to about 70% doing that, but they got held back by the Trirex. At that led all the way up to about 1 hour, 12 minutes, so about 4 minutes back and forth on that one. Over at 1 hour 4 minutes, EG managed to finally cap, and they also had a very strong, healthy presence still in that village, which was allowing them to push over for their next point, which would have been Kobru Factory. Trirex had a big spawn at the edge of the map just as they capped it. I think they must have thrown down an OP straight after to try and get themselves back into West Bend. But with that spawn, it just really popped an eye on for the RT and for the tank, because as soon as they respawned, it was like a double hit straight on them and wiped them out. So that really just knocked
That was
Trirex.
devastating to
Yeah,
see. That was just like, oh no.
yeah, that's like, get out of my cap, go
Yeah.
home. But it was tough fighting in the center, watching the game from both sides, trying to get through. Trirex trying to take that main village, because they know how important that is to get into West Bend. So they were trying to get that back off the EG, but EG weren't allowing it, and they were trying to get straight into Kobru. EG managed to kind of edge their way forward ever so slightly. In and around the 48th minute, EG started to cap with 75%, but got held back again by Trirex. But with that one, at the 38th minute, Trirex takes down a Gary. They managed to sneak their way behind West Bend, even further. Sorry, they managed to get all the way behind. What was that point called? highway,
Yeah,
up
and 30 Highway.
up behind West Bend, yeah, taking down their borderline garrison. Then they started pushing, but with that garrison gone down, it was just sent alarm bells, and EG just absolutely sniffed that out. Nothing came of it.
Well, they know it's a tough game, right? So they got to get back, and they're playing to stay in it. They got to defend.
Uh,
Excuse me.
but
I mean,
oh, go on.
sorry, go on.
No, I think that was it. It was, just straight off. It was basically that for the entire game. Everywhere was being fought for in terms of, in middle of the field, in the village, in near Cobru, behind enemy lines. It was just hard. It was like skirmishing everywhere. There was one clip that I saw, which kind of sums their game up. It was EG's commander against Trivex's commander out on the side.
Yeah.
I think we've all seen it now.
1v1.
It was the 1v1. It was commander versus commander. And I think that really did just sum up, it was bang, bang, you're both dead. That was it. It was that sort of game, perfect clip from, I believe it was a Hungarian that got that one. Was it Hungarian?
Guderian, yeah.
Yeah,
And Mr.
Guderian.
Nitro was the other streamer on that one.
Yes. But yeah, tight game, but it is definitely EG's favourite map, to say the least. I think they've also had this twice now in the competition.
Yeah. And they've won it both times, I think.
Yes.
And yeah, for the first time, the public were wrong on this one. I shouldn't gloat, but 85 to 92 on the public vote. So EG, coming through, like you said, it's so close, but the vote there. But EG, the sort of slight underdog coming through with the win.
Soxxes, you was going to say something?
Yeah, no offense, but if you play on Foy and you play as Axis, you get West Band and you lose you lose the point within the first 30 minutes. Let's be honest, that's not
You're
good.
done.
Yeah.
You have to properly utilize your artillery on Foy. You have to manage your tanks correctly, watch out for AT guns, and annihilate the enemy artillery. So Trarex did none of that, or to be fair, none of them correctly. So this was a game changer.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get on to maybe in a moment, like the actual statistics of who wins on Foy. But it's not great if you're Axis, is it?
It really isn't.
So yes, it's all rigged, Burger. Absolutely. When Jane created the picture here, she already knew that all the teams on the left would go through, and all the teams on the right would either go to the next round or go out of the tournament. So we do say farewell to 501st and the Bastardo boys, Trirex and Fins Let Loose this week. And we saw, as I said earlier, Trigger, Blacklist, and ESPT, OPB, HB go through into the 3-1 and into the playoffs. And setting us up for next week. I'm very excited.
Oh, only 3 games.
3 more games. Playing to stay in.
Yeah, it's looking good. It's looking healthy. And the maps are even good. One of them is not a surprise. I'm not going to say it yet.
Yeah, we'll cover that in a minute.
Yeah.
All right. Well, everybody's been very patient. Listen to our summaries of the games there. Do make sure you go and check them out on the Discord. But we will go straight onto the stats now from this weekend just played, which I know everybody quite likes. So let's bring up this stats page. As you can see, it's a better stats page than I was able to drum up last time. So hopefully that'll appease the beasts attacking me about my stats page. So toxic. But we'll first of all start off with last week's top killers per game. So the way that we've done it is for each team, but this doesn't mean that they're necessarily like the 1 and 2 top killers of the game, because there are some games where, not going to lie, some teams had quite dominant shooters, and you're looking for the top killer from the other team, and you're kind of going like 5 or 6 or 7 or more names down. So, but these are just going to be the top killers per team for each game. We might be able to kind of touch on what those games were, where there were people who played exceptionally well. But we'll just get cracking with it straight away. So the first game, obviously, Trigger versus 82 AD. Hopefully, I will unveil these in order. So our first top killer of the week is Hyperion, making another appearance. He's absolutely smashed it for Trigger so far in this this tournament. He's got the STG 44, as you can see. It's going to be a big number what he's got in the end. But he got 93 kills, 85 of which were with the STG 44.
That's ridiculous.
So absolutely smashing it as always, and like I say, it's not his first appearance. Then, talking of not their first appearance, we had 82 AD Thorpe with the M1 Garand.
Thorpe's in the chat as well. I saw him lingering.
Yeah, he sticks around for this part of the show, I'm sure, because he's featured several times at this point.
He can sniff.
With a whopping 85, and this is actually starting us off with one of the games where there were quite a few Trigger players who had exceptionally high scores, and this was not a one first and second situation, but Thorpe, with nothing to be sniffed at here, 85 kills with an M1 Garand.
That's ridiculous.
I know, that's like one of my top games ever, you know.
But it doesn't surprise me, Thorpe being one of the top ones in 82 AD.
Slayer.
We've seen him. He's been around for a while now. I think everyone knows who he is because they see him as the nemesis.
Yeah, basically.
Basically.
So they're moving on to Blacklist versus SCDB. I mentioned earlier that the ARC guys had joined with their like part of Blacklist, and it was Bleehat with the FG42 with the sniper scope on it. This week was their top infantry fragger with a whopping 103 kills.
Oh, what?
Ouch.
What?
Yeah.
That's a machine gun, no?
So you don't want to be part of the that's the sniper, right?
Oh, it's the new one. Yeah.
So you don't want to be facing SCDB on Sam Aragles as the Axis, because they're going to be sniping your artillery with a tank from miles away. But you probably also don't want to be playing artillery against the in SDDB either, against Blacklist, because their sniper is going to come and kill you 103 times. So pretty brutal both ways. The top killer infantry wise for SDDB was Le Docteur with the M1 Garand, and again a nice high score here with 55. Not quite on the same level, but with an M1 Garand, that's strong.
Yeah,
and they had a lot of people around the 50 level and getting a lot of like good kills. But the Blacklist again, like they had quite a few above that. So fair play to them for shooting like absolute fiends in that match.
I think his real name is Doctor. I think he renamed himself just for the game, Le Doctor, because they played against the French.
Oh, right. Well, yes. He put a lot of them in the hospital, let's put it like that. Oh, yeah. Okay, all right. I made the mistake. It's Abusify. I've missed a letter in there, Ossify. Cheers, Soul Raver. Thanks. Comment deleted. Get rid of that.
There's always one.
There's always a mistake. It's me. I always cock something up. That's right. So ESTP PT, again, I got something up. OP, BHP versus the line. We had Soviet Slug from ESPT with the STG 44, putting in some serious work with 97 kills.
Oh, hello. Nice.
Not messing about. But neither was Streets with the M1 Garand. Again, not first appearance. I don't think it's Soviet Slug's first appearance either, but Streets with a respectable 90 with his Garand. Absolutely slaying as always.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, in terms of the stats here, Soxxes, like there's definitely scope to do a lot of like you know, what do they call it in football? Like I can't think what it's called, like the golden boot or whatever. You know, there's some absolute fraggers in Hell Let Loose at the moment.
Yeah. There is. Yeah, definitely.
Then from the Phoenix versus 501st game, we'll start with Phoenix and APK, who does feature in a clip later on, I believe, with the STG 44, getting an 87. Another massive amount of kills. Then from 501st, we had I'm never going to be able to say this. Franmuel with the M1 Garand, the favourite weapon, obviously, of the Allies, with 72. So another high kill game. And you can see from all of these, like in past weeks, you know, there have been some where it's like 50 versus 50 and stuff like this. Okay, maybe they're like shorter games, but this level of you know, killing. I mean, we'll get to it. You can, I'm sure, see everybody's read all of the words and found my spelling mistakes. If you got that far, then you will have seen some of these other ones that are coming up. We've got last week's stats combined and seasonal stats combined. Some of these kills stats from last week are ridiculous. 7 out of the top 10 were PH people in the stats. There you go. So, hats off to PHX for that one. Then on to 116 versus Fins Let Loose. Let's make him a bit bigger here. Zark with did it come up?
Yeah.
Oh no, that's oh yeah. I'm looking for the numbers. I've literally got how many sources here? 52 different slides that I'm trying to show here. So smashing it. Literally smashing it. 109.
Oh my god. Top one for
Let's
today.
just make that bigger because that deserves it. And then we've got Kivilimi with the Browning, first appearance that we've seen of the M1919 Browning from Fins Let Loose here, with 59. So quite a big difference in that one. Quite a few 116 players really doing very, very well in that game indeed. And yeah, leaving the Fins Let Loose guys a little bit in the dust on that one, unfortunately, for them. But yeah, hats off to Zark for a massive kills there. That's ridiculous.
That's impressive, that is.
Yeah. Top fragger of the weekend?
I believe maybe so. We've only got a couple left, and it's Dirty Dan with the G43 over here. Let's make him a little bit bigger. And he got 70 kills.
That's good. Healthy.
A healthy 70 kills.
That is a healthy solid.
Healthy for who? And then we've got Red Ace with the sniper, so our second sniper of the week with the 1903 Springfield for the Allies, of course, with 65. So that obviously leaves Zark with the top spot, followed by Blee Hat. And then I believe we've got Soviet Slug, Hyperion, Streets, etc. So obviously well done to everyone who played this weekend. Kills aren't the be all and end all, but you got to take your hat off and respect 109 kills with a G43. I don't want to play against him. Don't know about you.
I can't even get 10 kill streak. I can't even get. I probably die this much in just public game. I don't. Oh yeah, this is why I don't play. It's ridiculous, but it just goes to show the level of players that are in Hell Let Loose. And this is just the top one of the game that, you know, might have just had a great game, might not always be the top one. You know, there's plenty of other people that can easily come top killer for their team. It just goes to show it's so competitive.
Yeah, some of these people, like we said, making multiple appearances now. Hyperion, Thorpe, Doctor, Streets, APK maybe as well. Dirty Dan, I'm pretty sure, is making another appearance here. So people smashing it out there, and it, you know, you've obviously got to respect it. Yes, there is definitely, you know, this is the game. If you're the person with the big brain and you know where the garrison is and you don't kill 5 people and you let them run past you and then you take out the garrison, like, that is strategically probably far superior to getting those 5 kills. But like, you have to respect these fraggers here, because, you know, a lot of the time they're going to be put up front or, you know, center stage in defense, and they're going to be, those kills that they're getting are very, very useful for the team. So fair play to them. Okay, so on to the next section. We've got last week's top kill streaks here. So you mentioned you thought you can't crack 10.
Yeah. Oh dear.
So this is a gentleman who I didn't manage to really see when I was casting the game, as I mentioned earlier, hiding a little bit, sort of sneakily at the HQ spawn in a tank, killing the artillery, getting a 56 kill streak.
What? Wait, Artie? No, Artie. Tank.
Tank, sitting in the tank
Okay.
at the spawn,
Ah, that is disgusting.
shooting shots at the artillery all the way over the other side of the map.
It's just having basically 4 arties when you got a tanker that's doing that.
It's disgusting. How long until this game is literally like every single person in a solo tank squad doing like a thing against or with an AT gun, just literally like pointing against, you see the map from above and it's just like a zigzag mess of them all killing each other, and in the end it's like mutually assured destruction. You just get the two commanders having a fight like we saw on Foy right in the middle. They just meet in the middle, have a knife fight, and that's how they decide it. The next one, also tanks here. I'm going to say this wrong. I'm so sorry. Zishan with 49.
My days.
Yep. And then Beaker here with 55. So, what did you say? 10. 10's about the limit. I don't know what my
best.
Yeah, I don't know what my top one is, but it's definitely nowhere near 55, 49, 56. So,
What's the safest place to get a kill streak? Artie, yeah.
well,
That's
yes.
that's my kill streak then.
The top kill streak of the seasonal is an Artie player. We might also know who already.
Save that for next week.
It's coming. I think it's
It's
the last. Yeah, it's the last one of the whole stats unveil here.
Oh, do it. Go on. Oh, we'll leave
so,
it. Go for it.
So last week's top tanking squads. Again, featuring Mr. Do, Bossman, and Atrocity from the line, putting in the work as always. And like I say, they kind of lost the tank game, the line. So that gives you an idea of like how good the ESPT tanks were. They just didn't quite get like the one squad level kills of Mr. Do, Bossman, and Atrocity, who got a whopping 77 kills in their tank, which is ridiculous.
They were. If I have a quick look, I believe that they were the same tankers as that came top. Yes, Bossman, Mr. Do, and Aracta City.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They came top a couple of weeks ago, right?
Well, yeah, because we had the break, so yeah. But it was basically the last week end that we played, and they got 111.
Yeah,
so
disgusting. That was against 116, and crazy match. That last one where they got 106. This one, like it got, and I said about them defending the barn. It literally got to the stage where like these guys, I was seeing them running around with like as infantry. So some of these are going to be like infantry kills mixed in at the end because they just didn't even have a tank left, but they still were slaying people. So fair play to them. Then after that, we saw Xishan just a minute ago in the top kill streaks, but with Chogle and this other guy's name, who I clearly don't know, but I think it might be like Josh. They got 71, so right up there as well.
Nice.
And I mean, I think I mentioned in my kind of rundown that the trigger tanks like absolutely smashing it against 82 AD. Like they were the deciding factor. They had a Tiger and a Lux, I think, like in the point of cattle sheds to help take it. There was a Stuart there, was like, oh crap, like tried to take a couple shots, so they just got decimated. Like they were the difference makers in that game, and they really well, apart from the arty snipes, but like they allowed the team to push up and get out of AA network and really like win the game. So and then we've had him before, Emanation, the solo tanker from the line with 67 total kills. 56 obviously was his top kill streak, but 67 all in all, just literally sitting there reloading, killing the artillery guys. It's part of the game now, so it's also part of the stats. Oh man, thank you for the tier 1 sub there. Thank you.
No worries. Sorry, but enjoy it, motherfucker.
Yeah, man. Soul Raver, a previous guest on the show, so thank you very much. Okay, so then we'll go into last week's top victims, which is always popular. And we've seen Blee Hat was the arc sniper, causing such a big problem for the SCDB arty guys, and Ragnar knows all about that because he died to Blee Hat 33 times.
Oh, bless him.
Yeah, not ideal.
Ouch.
Then we had Dark Times Ahead from OP, died to Emanation. So again, this is, you say the top kill streaks and stuff, like you got to be on the RT. Well, if you want to be the top victim, go RT as well, because Emanation just, fired shots from so far away, and poor Dark Times Ahead died a whopping 28 times.
And bless him, like Logical Lee said, it's always Ragnar. And last week, but don't forget we had obviously the break. So basically, last week Ragnar died to Finnet Loose 24 times, and he was top again. So go give him some love.
Dude, that guy, that's what you want from your arty players. He doesn't care if there's somebody standing near him. He's just running straight to the artillery and firing a shell if he can. That's the dream as a commander. That's the arty guy you want. He doesn't even get distracted by people trying to shoot him. He just takes one bullet, but he's already held F. He's already in the gun. He's fired it once. You've got one shell in the air. He's dead. Who cares?
Exactly.
It's somebody else's job to do the protecting of the artillery. It's his job to fire that bad boy, and he just goes for it. So hats off to Ragnar. Obviously nowhere near our top all-time victim. Groot still holding the medal on that one. I think what was it, 103 times, something like that. So disgusting. But yes, hats off to Ragnar. Dark Times Ahead as well, of course, and also Sitch, the EG commander, dying to Romulus 16 times. Painful.
Ooh. Yeah,
that's what you need. Not what you need when you're trying to check your map. And
he was the commander, so I wonder how he died so many times. Was he
leading from the front? Maybe just ran in and got artied over and over. Okay, so now we will move on to last week's stats combined. I believe I will just check. Yes. So we start with participants. So in these last week's games, we've had 588 players play, which is fantastic. They have had a combined 18,834 kills, which is ridiculous. Of those, only 326 have been team kills, which is very, very respectable indeed. I mean, when we see road kills versus team kills, you can get that many team kills just with a truck. Then satchel kills versus team kills, we had 167 satchel kills over the weekend, and enemy kills, and 21 friendly team kills, but probably worth it if they cleared out a bunch of enemies and destroyed a garrison and all the rest of it. So big satchel weekend. Vehicle kills, an even bigger weekend. 1,274 kills by vehicles, tanks shooting people, with 48 friendly kills, team kills, blue on blue. And then roadkill, the classic stat of people getting run over. We had 20 enemies run over, and as always, 22. The majority of these kills were team kills.
Always, there's always.
I don't know. I'd be really interested to see the stats of this, before they made the changes to the vehicle mechanics, because I think that these trucks are harder than ever to drive, and they just don't stop. When you turn the engine off, they don't stop. When you jump out, they don't stop. And when you try and stop them, they take ages to stop. So people jump out, but they're still kind of moving, and they get run over all the time. So I would be interested to see how that compares. But road kills, very, very often the team kills take the lead over killing the enemy.
It's great to see those stats. So you're looking at the participants, 588. Last week when we had the full 8 teams, they were 785. So it's 198 of people different. Obviously minus the casters. But for this week we've had 18,000 kills. Last week we only had 22. So there was a 4,000 kill difference with a difference of 200 people. I don't know what the quick stats or the maths is for that, but I think this weekend we had a much better kills to like the kill ratio
Yeah,
between the
well,
participants.
we can check it. I can have a look for you guys. Week 6, which is what we would call the last
And
weekend. We had a where is it?
Berger also says games were a lot longer this week, and yeah, that
Yeah,
is
they were.
correct.
Yeah,
Forgot about that. Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. There are quite a few, not quick games, but the average was 78 minutes for last weekend. I keep saying
yeah,
last weekend, it's not quite right. But yeah, with an average of 2,918 kills per match last weekend. And then this weekend, the average deaths per match were 3,193 with an average length of
Jesus.
85 minutes. So
Yeah,
longer games, more kills.
yeah,
Yeah, disgusting.
yeah. But Zuck took most of them.
So now we get onto the seasonal stats combined, and 588 participants last weekend is fantastic, but with a total of 1,710 participants in the whole tournament so far, I think Hell Let Loose's competitive scene's looking pretty good right now.
Very, very healthy.
What isn't healthy is the number of kills that there have been. Yes, that is that many digits. That is 110,886 kills.
Wow.
That's ridiculous.
Yes.
While you carry on, I'm going to quickly count at how many games we physically had so far.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Well, I can give you the average for the whole
For
of
the whole thing?
the tournament. I believe the average deaths per match has been 2,406. So
Yeah,
the combined. Well, I mean, we'll get to that in a minute, but the matches played have been 47. So that divided by 47. So then, highest casualty match of the whole tournament, was Core versus Blacklist, which I was fortunate enough to cover over on Sam Eric Lee's with a whopping 3,925 kills in one game.
Wow.
That was a tough one. That was a tough one. We've seen Blacklist. I mean, this week, I mentioned that Blee Hat was their top killer, but in terms of the the full stats for their game against SCDB, they had top 7 killers,
wow.
I believe, maybe even more. Blee Hat got 103, but then Matej got 81. Sorry, Crazy Rammer got 79, Pajamin 71, Musenin 67, Odi Panda 65. So crazy high kills there from those Blacklist guys, like crazy. And then factor in like Core, playing against Core, it was literally disgusting. The top killer from that game, just to remind people, was Lucky One from Core with 97 kills. That just decimating people. He killed U-Hate and Rico 14 times. Then Chucky on the artillery was 75 kills. Then Kissy Dub from Blacklist with 77. Then Matej from Blacklist was 76. We've got 69 kills, 71 kills, 67 kills. It's just crazy. How high a killing game that was. So that's the one that takes the crown so far in the tournament as the highest casualty match. But the combined hours played is the next stat, and altogether we've had 5,203.3 hours of people's time poured into this bad boy. And what's that kills divided by that number to give us a.
Give me 1 second. I'm just shocked that there's that many hours. It doesn't feel like it.
It's mad, isn't it? Well, I think that's like per with all the players, right? Then TKs, which everybody is keen to see, and like as a ratio, kills to TKs, like this is good. 2,212 team kills. Sounds like a lot by itself.
That's 21.3 kills per second, or minute.
Yeah,
probably
crazy.
a minute. Yeah, a minute.
A minute, yeah.
We had so many team kills.
Yeah, well, people keep running each other over. Satchels kill so many people, artillery team kills so many people, tanks kill so many people, and then people jumping out of trucks and running their friends over. Sitch was on Arty, House Gangster says. I think somebody else mentioned it before, Burger. So when we're talking about the victims, they're all artillery guys. Sitch was on Arty, died to Romulus 16 times, so not commanding this week for EG. But then top kill streak, the final one, I mentioned it earlier. It was an absolute bloodbath of a game. Anybody who remembers Trigger versus Core, you know who this is already. And it's Chucky with 231 kill streak.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
I think Chucky is one of the best artillery players in the game right now.
And nobody killed him for the whole game.
Yep.
And that's what he can do.
He must have had a whole squad just to protect him. I think he did. I think we were talking about that. A whole squad just to protect that Arty. I mean, I would if you're getting 231 kills.
Yeah, it's absolutely worth it. And artillery on, I think the game was on Purple Heart Lane, right?
Purple Heart Lane.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah, artillery is key.
Yeah, 2.5 kills a minute.
Big shout out to
90.
Chucky. Wow.
Disgusting. And that was the one, of course, where Groot got his top victim, top died. I should put him somewhere in here as well. It's just, as you can see, getting to be quite the cramming everybody in. And thanks Ozify, obviously, for the stats here. Couldn't do without him. Massive shout out to Abusify, as always. But yes, shout out to Groot as well from Trigger for dying so many times to Chucky in that game. Yeah, Ozify, shout out Ozify. Yeah, someone get that man a sub. But yes, stats, good as always. We're going to post it up on the Discord, so I will change the name there to give him proper credit before it goes up. Yeah, good stuff. I mean, obviously, like some of those really stand out in terms of like this 231 kill streak. So many team kills. That Core versus Blackness match with 3,925 kills in one game. But I think that these stats are less interesting, let's say, or less telling, maybe, than some of the other stats that we might find in the game. And obviously, Abusify has done an awesome job of like collating a bunch of these and running scripts so that we can give you stuff like combined hours played and highest casualty matches and things like that, and rogue kills versus team kills and these kind of things. But I have to kind of cue in our guest here a little bit. I mean, Soxxes, he's been very patient and listened to us talk all about these games for absolutely ages. But I think we're moving on to his time to shine now, because in terms of stats and in terms of rankings and leaderboards and all the rest of it in Hell Let Loose, you probably know as much as anybody, I would say, Soxxes.
Yeah, thank you very much. Sure, go on with the stats now.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so then.
So I will open my my thing and we can move on to page 1. You just let me know when you need me to change pages, yeah?
Yeah. Do I share my screen, right?
No, it's okay. So I've got them here for the for your PDF that you sent me, and then
okay.
at the end we'll share the screen for the other thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks. Okay. Yeah. One good thing about the Hilo system is also that we have the data centralized in one Discord, so we can create interesting statistics easily, only because the teams report their game results on our Discord and not distributed on many Discords. So yeah, as you can see here, this is one example. We can create some ordinary statistics. You can see the direct comparison between Hurtgen and Foy in terms of what is it? Yeah, which side wins more often? Yeah, nothing special. Okay, I think we can go to the next
But for
slide.
those people that earlier we were talking about Foy, you can see that the Axis,
Yeah,
it's not a team you want to pick when it comes to Foy.
that's right. Yeah,
And it
that's
used to
right.
be a lot worse, right, before they changed the points.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So next slide,
Moving
please.
on. Yes.
Yeah, moving on. I mean, this is nothing special. Um, yeah. Here's another statistics. Nothing too surprising. The number of games played per map. I mean,
SME, an
some,
absolute classic. That's the
yeah,
favourite for everyone, I think. And Samari Demont, like, really rising up through the stats. Like in the last iteration of Samari Demont, it was like not played at all, right?
yeah,
The previous map, and Utah was next, but Utah getting kind of knocked off the second spot, I think.
yeah, definitely. So this one is quite boring as well, in my opinion. The next one is quite interesting when it comes to ban phases, for example. No, not this one. This one is not interesting as well. But what is interesting is that 2/3 of the games were 5-0 games, almost 2/3 of the games. Um, and yeah, what I'm showing here is just some examples, what you can do with the data, right? So these are
Yeah,
just ordinary statistics, as I said, nothing special. But the next one is extremely valuable when it comes to ban phases, for example, um, where you can see the win rate per map for the 116th Greyhounds. I mean, they're rank 3 at the moment. The score is not correct, I think. I don't know right now. I mean, yeah. Oh no, it's from
we'll have
yesterday.
to run the sim
Yeah.
to find
So
out.
but you can see here the win rate per map, as I said, for the 116th Greyhound. And on the first look, you might think, well, the win rate of 64.7% on SME, they're comparatively poorly on this map, or they performed comparatively poorly on this map. And you might think you better do not pick Hurtgen or Utah against them because they have such a high win rate on this map. But in fact, and this is where the Hilo system comes in now, if you have a look at the average strength of their opponents on these maps, you can see that the high win rates are achieved by playing against much worse teams. So we have an average win rate of 582 and 616.
Versus their score of 732 at the time of this.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And now when you see, or what we first thought was a bad performance on SME, now turns out to be pretty good, because even though they had an extremely strong opponent on average on some least, they still managed to win more than 2/3 of their games, which is pretty good, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And by the way, it's also possible to split the bars into Axis and allies if you want to see how they performed on both sides. So yeah,
Which
pretty
is
interesting
huge.
stuff.
And that's
Yeah,
like, yeah, you know, you're getting like really, really deep into, like you say, that's such valuable information for the ban phase when you're trying to
right.
pick, you know, or rule out, let's say, maps that you really don't want to face your opponent on, and teams as well, you know, factions that you don't want to play them on as well. If you can boil it down right to factions, then that's
Yeah,
so valuable.
yeah. And this is possible. And I will show you later. The last statistic I want to show before we go to the big stuff is a little bit more complex, but also very interesting. You can see the ranks of the teams from 1 to 7, their score, number of games, wins, and so on. And what I want to focus on is the last column. It's called the performance rating. It's another thing from chess. And all you need to know is that this value can be interpreted as the like the expected score based on the past opponent's number of games and the win rate of a team. So what does it tell us? It basically tells us if a clan is under or overrated at the moment. So it's a little bit more reliable KPI than the average strength of opponents, which I introduced a slide before that.
Okay, interesting. So in this one, for example, we've got 116 Greyhounds in third. with a performance rating of 783, but in fourth, the line have 806. So
Yeah.
maybe the line would be
Yeah.
higher. But both. So the line only has this star next to its name, which I believe means they've only played a certain number of games, right?
Yeah, right. They
Inside the
played less than
system.
30 games.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And there's weighting
absolutely.
inside the maths for that.
Yeah, you have so I don't want to go too deep into the math here, but the performance rating takes into consideration the number of games, and the lower your number of games is, the less reliable is your performance rating in this specific run.
Yep.
Yeah, but if we have a look at some examples, for example, the Delicious 3, they are actually on 13th place. I mean, this statistic does not include the games from the weekend. Unfortunately, I made it on Friday or Thursday, I don't know. And you can see that Esprit de Corps, for example, is extremely underrated at the moment. They have had a score of 644 and the performance rating is 804, so nearly 150 points more than they have. And in contrary, the 38th Infantry Division from Germany is a little bit overrated at the moment. So, yeah.
Interesting. I mean, so in terms of Esprit de Corps, because we mentioned them earlier, when they're underrated like that, is that because they've been maybe playing like higher, like going back to the previous slide, like is that because they've been playing more highly rated opponents and maybe consequently losing a few more?
Yeah, I think that, yeah, that's a valid statement. Yeah.
Because I know they've been playing friendlies against like some of the top teams in the run up to the seasonal, which obviously you could kind of maybe pad your score on this if that's what you were interested in by playing teams that were like newer teams or less formidable. But I think they haven't been caring about Hilo. They've been caring about getting that amazing practice in against like top teams, and maybe that's kind of had some effect on this.
Yeah, and you also have to take into consideration that Esprit de Corps, BHB, and OP are always playing together. So the score, the Hilo score they gained in one game is split up. So they 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 cannot have the same progress as a single team like Core or WTH or the Line or something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
that's what High Speed Hilly's just saying here as well in the chat. So
Yeah, yeah, right. And all of this leads to kind of a new ranking. So yeah, if you thanks. I know streamers like to rank all the competitive teams from 1 to 10, and they do it based on their expertise, which is completely fine. And my rank, however, is based on the math, and I think it's quite acceptable too. We have Core on first, WTH on second, but I have to say that I want to add a question mark on this because WTH is
A lot of people would be questioning that question mark.
yeah, I don't know which team is better at the moment. So WTH is extremely strong. Core, my team is extremely strong, and I hope we will find out soon in the seasonal which team.
Semi-finals, fingers crossed.
Or semi-finals, right? I mean, there's an everlasting rivalry between those two teams.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've got the asterisk here as well.
Yeah.
What the hell have been around quite a long time? How come they've only played less than 30 games, or is that correct?
Oh no, this is the data is from I think September to 2021. So not all the games they ever played is in the statistics.
Yeah,
I
okay.
only track the games they played for the Hilo system.
Cool. Yeah, so that's something to like caveat to people, like because if they see this and think, "Wait, what the hell? I've played more than 30 competitive games." Like,
as does everyone have the same stats as like they all started on say September 1st, 2020, or is it whenever they joined the Halo system?
Whenever they joined the Halo system, but they
okay.
started with the same score of 600 points.
Okay.
Yeah.
and obviously, like you said earlier, I mean, underrated ESPT, OPBHB. They've gone from 13th in the previous slide to third.
Yeah. Yeah. Which I think is, yeah, this can be true in my opinion. I don't know. What do you think, guys?
I mean, this is my top three for sure. It's interesting to see DC in fourth.
Yeah.
obviously they're not featuring this time around in the season, or they were with 82 AD last time. Got like amazing shooters. Are some of their scores again like combined with other teams when they're playing with other teams, or is this just DC playing by themselves?
I think DC played a lot of cooperation games,
Yeah.
and this is why I think they have such a big score right now. I mean, I don't see DC on 4th place, to be honest, but I just did the math, and yeah, I didn't change anything. So,
Yeah,
but
no, well, it's a really
yeah,
interesting like way to look at it, because as like you said, as maybe a streamer or something, you think of it from your like expertise, as you put it, and think, uh, you might not think of DC being like that significant
yeah,
of a entity in that way. I mean, obviously, like everybody knows how good they are, but at the same time, like it's interesting to see that, like, oh, actually, like the maths does say that like they are this good kind of thing. So that's really interesting. The same with the
yeah,
line as well.
yeah. I totally agree. And one thing to add, maybe I would today I would switch 82nd ID and Trigger.
Hmm.
I mean, before the weekend they were 1 point. The difference between those two teams were 1 point. So 82nd ID had a score of 708, I think, yeah, and Trigger 707. And I think now, I mean, the table will change after every game. Um, this is something you have to keep in mind.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the difference doing it with maths rather than just like
Yeah.
licking your finger and sticking it in the air kind of thing.
But yeah, if you found this all interesting, now I have a little surprise. Um,
let me
Samu
let
from
me
the
make
90,
sure that I'm on your stream
yeah,
here. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. Samu from the 91st and Maulwürfchen, I think they are both watching right now. And I recreated a website and an API where you can create those and even more statistics. And with this, with that said, I really want to say a big thank you to both of them. You guys were awesome. I really appreciate all the things we made together. The Hilo system is not only my thing anymore, because this is what I'm going to show you now. It's a complete team effort, and I
And where?
think,
Go on.
yeah.
Sorry. No, carry on, carry on.
Just let me show what we did, and you might understand it. I mean, you can, yeah.
Yep.
So we have here the landing page with our new icon. You can get the information on the Hilo system, find our Discord, and see the current scoreboard, which should be the same as in the Discord, just much better looking. But I think, yeah, let's move on to the most interesting part. I mean, you have here the top clans by score and by the games. And if you click one of those guys, you can see that we provided all the statistics for everyone and every team. All the data is publicly accessible via the API, which has a full documentation. So if you're a developer creating a tool or a bot for Discord or tournament, feel free to use it. We have also plans to extend those statistics via the API. Yeah, this is what we've been doing the last month. And this is no secret knowledge. We just used the input from the community. We changed nothing. We added nothing. We removed nothing. But I think you should experience that on your own. Let me.
Make sure that we post this in chat.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
where are you going to post this so everyone can?
I posted in the stream chat.
Okay.
So, yeah. So basically, if you click another clan,
It's so
see.
good. This is
Yeah.
so good.
And then going forward, it will be on the. Is it an announcement on a Halo system?
Oh wait, hold on.
No, we waited until the stream starts.
Let
Oh,
me.
so you
For
guys in
some
chat
reason,
see
it's
this
not letting
first.
you post the. Yeah, it's not letting you post a link. Send me the link, would you, Soxxes, and I'll post it.
Okay. I'm gonna have it on Discord.
Yep. Yeah, one sec, guys. I'll just have to turn this off for a second.
Yeah. You can also go to the scoreboard and click clan, team, whatever you want to do. And you basically see the score over time, the win rate, overall win rate, and you can see which victory, as you can see the win rate by the victory type. So 82nd AD, for example, got 6-3-2 wins, 4-4-1 wins, and 8-4-0 or 4-0 wins. and 16 losses. You got the win rate per map, as I showed you for the 116th Greyhounds. Yeah, feel free to play around with it. I'm gonna post the documentation for the API on the Hilo Discord. Yeah, it's not that sexy that like the website.
The website makes it look amazing. The API is like
yeah,
the
it looks
backbone or whatever.
professionally
But
done. Well done.
Yeah, the
it
API
looks
basically
fantastic.
tells you which request you have to send to which URL, and yeah, you can fetch the data from there.
Sick.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, this is first thing to say is like it's a huge honor for you to unveil it here on the recapping. That's so cool. I'm literally hyped about this, and I'm so glad that you said yes to coming on, and that this is your secret, your special surprise, because we didn't even know about this until like right before the stream, and I do mean like 10 minutes before. So
and there's a rumor that you was pushing for it all to be completed by this.
Excuse me, what did you say? Sorry.
There was, I believe, there was a rumor that you said this all had to be done so you can announce
ready
it
for
here.
the grand unveiling.
Yeah, I set the deadline for Samu and me and for Maulwürfelchen, and I said, yeah, the stream is on what day do we have? Yeah, 25th April, and yeah, we have to be. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
it looks amazing.
Hats off to those
from that
guys,
distance.
and hats off to you as well, obviously. But like, that's very exciting stuff, I think, for a lot of people in the community. We've probably lost a bunch of people off the stream now because they're literally all on their Chrome.
Well, they're not talking, so yeah,
that's it. They've all disappeared onto the thing. So yes,
Samu, you
massive,
definitely did.
yes, Samu, Mulverfischen, sick.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to turn this one off now because otherwise, like, I'm going to be trying to like scroll on the screen and look at all the different things. I'm watching it on OBS right now, and I'm trying to like click on stuff.
Can you say who's going to win out of the tournament? No, just too many. But it wouldn't surprise me what you can do with it. Fantastic work.
Yeah, thanks.
Should we?
And the new Hilo logo as well that goes with it.
Yeah, the Hilo logo was also made by a guy from SCDB, so they make the best logos in the game.
I mean, I'm wearing it right now, so I don't disagree with you.
Yeah. While we're on that Halo system, can we just show everyone how to like fully use it, and then maybe try who's going to win these next 3 games?
Yes, you'll have to give me a second to set that up.
Sorry.
Oh, right, on the actual website. Yeah, do it. Let's do it on the website.
Give it on, so we can see.
Are you able to run the simulation for us, Soxxes? Like if just on the website here and.
On the website, unfortunately not. But let me look.
If it's not if it's too much, then.
No, the simulations are not on the website right now, but we're gonna add them soon.
Okay.
I think. Yeah. Yeah, as I said, we want to extend this website and the API so you can have you can make a full analysis of every team you want, as long as you want.
Yeah,
as many teams as you want. Yeah.
Like, thank you guys for that, because like obviously all of you doing this just from the love of the game, and for no payment, nothing like that. Like, thank you on behalf of like all the people who are going to use this, because this is going to be huge. This is going to be one of the biggest tools in Hell Let Loose, because like you say, the ban phase is it's half the tournament practically, and this kind of tool is going to just be like a favorite on every single commander's bookmarks bar. Like, the value of this is like incredible, and to just put in all that work and bring it to us for nothing is so sick, and to make it look that good and to be that like intuitive and understandable is just phenomenal. So massive thank you on behalf
People
of everyone.
Don't realize how much work you have to actually put into stuff, even though it's free. It's you've spent hours. So yeah, big thank you.
Yeah, thanks for giving me the opportunity to present it here on such an audience. I mean, otherwise,
dude, it's my pleasure. Like, you kept it secret from us for like the last 10 minutes. I just wanted the PDFs. You know what I mean? I didn't expect any of this. This is fucking phenomenal.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't think our top clips will even compete with that. Might as
Well,
call it
no,
a night.
that's it. You gotta just clip that. Okay, well, we'll crack on. I mean, like you say, where do you go from there? But we've got to talk about the games coming up
Yeah.
this weekend. So if I jump us over to the kind of coming up screen, we can see the changes that Jane's already updated. Fantastic. Again, somebody putting in loads and loads of work and making stuff look really, really excellent for us. So thank you to her for doing the we call it the table, the scoreboard here. But you can see that the teams that went through, as we said earlier, into the playoffs, the 3-1 games are Trigger, Blacklist, and ESPT, OP, the teams that went out are 501st, BST2, Trirex, and Fins Let Loose. And the games that we have this week are literally epic. We've got The Line versus EG. We've got STDB versus 116 Greyhounds, which has the potential to be like one of the best games in the tournament so far. We've got 82 AD versus Team Phoenix. Again, like all three of those games are going to be huge. I mean, I kind of want to just start by asking Soxxes, what are your predictions? What are you calling for each one of these games?
Oh,
So to give you a little information, TL is going to be Axis, EG will be Allies, and the map will be Foy.
this is hard. Tough one, but I think the line will go. I don't know, something like 3-2 or 4-1 against EG. I don't think it's gonna be a 5-0, but maybe a close match, 3-2 or 4-1.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Interesting. Even with the what we just saw in terms of like the balance of Foy.
Yeah, because I think the line, I think it was the line. I don't want to say too much, but the line, they got some pretty good spots for their tanks on Foy, I guess. I mean, we experienced this on our own when we had a game in the HPL against them. Yeah, I think they were. Yeah, I don't know. This is hard. This is a really tough
It's
one.
hard, isn't it?
Yeah. The second one, maybe. I don't know.
So the second one is
Yeah.
Axis STDB, Greyhounds as Allies, and the map will be Utah Beach.
Also a tough one. I love SCDB, as I said earlier, but I think the Greyhounds will be. I think they're going not 5-0 also, but 4-1, just because of the fighting spirit of the beast mode of
Oh,
SCDB. Yeah.
okay.
That's fair. That's fair.
Felchen is not happy with that comment.
Head in his hands. Not like this.
And then you got the last one, 82 against Phoenix. 82 AD will be Axis. Phoenix will be Allies, and the map is Semery Demont.
Also a tough one. And no offense, but with 80-second AD, it's always like a gamble. I think if I have to bet on one team, 80-second AD would be the last one. For me, it seems like their performance is highly unpredictable. I think they're a really good team, but sometimes they can't show it.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yep.
if they have their guys together, then they can beat Phoenix. But also not with a 5-0, I think.
Yeah.
Which map are you going to play?
Semery Demont for the 82 in Phoenix.
Then maybe 3-2 or 4-1 for 80-second AD.
Ooh.
And what do you guys think?
I'm actually going to go with EG against TL. I know
Okay.
TL tanks are good, but EG, it's their favorite game. Sorry, their favorite map. They're used to it. They know where to put the AT cannons. They probably are very experienced. They probably know where the tanks are going to come from. So I do think that they've generally actually got an upper hand on this one.
Okay.
But in terms of SCDB 116, 82 AD, Phoenix, genuinely do not have a clue. And I would love to have one of those games. I think it's going to be extremely epic and it's going to be a very, very tough game for both sides. And I'm not going to predict it. I haven't even voted it on the match predictions.
See, I would say TL all the way against EG. Maybe if they get West Bend, then again we might see a struggle like we saw with Trirex EG. But I think from what I've seen of the line, like, I mean, EG a great team, but like the line are just up there for me. That win over 116 was like they're really up there, and you saw actually in your your mathematical ratings how high they were rated.
Yeah.
And for me they're excellent. So I would say the line, despite having access, despite it being Foy and EG being very comfortable, I think maybe it won't go for the full 5-0, but I would say the line are gonna get through that one.
It'll be tough for them.
SCDB 116 is like huge. On
Yeah.
Utah, one of the more balanced maps. Okay, sure, like it can sort of come down to the point. Like the chapel is maybe, it's kind of swung one way or the other. But like even then, like, I, like you say, this one is so hard to call. I don't really even know. I just don't know what to even say about it. Just that I think Greyhounds need to, like, we saw them lose to the line at Utah. The point was Chapel. They didn't manage to keep their defense like where it needed to be, and then on attack, the responsiveness of the line was excellent, and they managed to get back and defend it at the end. So we have seen them lose on Utah so far, but then I'm not sure we've seen SCB lose on Utah, but we've certainly seen them lose. So it's a real tough one. Yeah, that is a real tough one. It's going to be one of the best games, like I say, possibly of the whole tournament, or a steamroll with like some crazy tactics that we've never seen before. And then 82 AD and Phoenix. My money is probably on 82 AD. They've put in some really solid performances, but Phoenix coming through on the back of a win, and a good win against 501st, not a team to be messed around with at all. Phoenix been a bit unlucky with some of the games that they've drawn throughout the tournament. There, they played the line back in round 2 of the main stage. They played Core back in round 1 of the main stage. Like they have had a real tough time of it coming up. So they've proved themselves to be, and of course like they've done really well in like the German league and all that stuff. Like they proved themselves to be a great team, but have they got enough to beat 82 AD? Maybe, but maybe not. Samurai Demon, again, like some people will probably say that 82 AD have the stronger side in the Axis, and certainly if it's like dug out as the middle point, it can be very hard for the Allies. So who knows? Who knows? And it depends who watches the VOD and catches that tank snipe and figures out how to shoot the other person's artillery partly as well. Because if it's AA battery again, like that was so important. So yeah, I'm a bit with you on the fence on that one, but I'm going to put my hat in the ring and say 82 AD for that one. Probably 116, but quite possibly SCB on the middle one because that is just who knows. And for me, the line beats EG on Foy.
Certainly going to be a great weekend.
Absolutely.
All eyes on all
Definitely.
3 of these games. It's just a little bit of a shame that they're not playing kind of separate times. They're all playing relatively at the same time. It would have been great to actually like one mid lunch, one like 6 o'clock, and then one a little bit later. Obviously,
Yeah.
it depends on the communities, but that would have just been perfect. 3 intense games for a Sunday evening, perfect. But it is what it is.
Streets for me, EG winning. Interesting. Okay, let's finish up. Let's round up with some clips from this weekend. Just gone. Hopefully we can see connection okay. I've like messed this camera up. Give me 1 second.
Oh,
we're all good. Let's make you long and thin. Okay, cool. So
that's what she said.
That's what she long and thin. Great. That's like there's a quote from some TV show where he's like, oh, might not be the mine might not be the longest, but it's definitely the thinnest. Short and thin, every lady's favorite. So, clip number one. clip number one. Yeah. X-rated now, guys. So we're watching ESPT OPBHB versus the Line.
I don't know. I just want to see. I have no idea. But
I think that's a fair assessment. Ken with the OP kills himself.
So for those of you that missed that, that's how you take out an airhead.
Disgusting.
Let's if I try and let it reload and then we watch it again.
I'm willing to bet the fuel nodes stay down. If they got rebuilt, great. I don't know. I just want to see. I have no idea. But
I think that's a fair assessment. Ken with the OP kills himself.
Bye.
Just commitment in that. So good. High Speed Hilly says, if only the medium Sherman would have been closer to the Gary I satcheled, you could have been in for a good clip. Oh my god. On that Line versus ESPT game, yeah, High Speed Hilly put a satchel on the on the Garrison, and the tank rolls up because it sees the Gary's hot, so he's like, hey, I can help here, and just like pulls up like literally next to the satcheled Garrison, and it's like, wait, is this gonna blow the tank up? Like, it really hurt them. Like, they just got like a little bit further away. They like shot HE at the Gary and killed a couple people, and then like moved on. But like, that was close. That could have been an absolutely epic clip. I think we've got Guderian again though here.
Jables versus the Commander versus Commander out on the edge of the map.
You know what? I missed the duel before the match of your game when what was it? Incheon and Coltrane were going to go meet out in C3 somewhere and have a knife fight and determine who won. It was hilarious.
Save the men. Let's settle this like gentlemen.
That's it. And the reply was something like nuts. I don't remember.
Oh, they traded.
They traded. That was awesome.
They each have a Garrison too. Look at this.
Now,
as you say, that one like summed up that game.
It really did.
Yeah.
Brutal trade.
Yes, Mr. Fox, sadly you forgot that, but don't you worry, it's all good. Spanish also starting to cap a bit. Can we actually, do we have anybody on the... oh, they just killed the guy.
No.
Come on, that was some good shit. That was some good shit. Oh, they're running away from a tank. Sorry, HE.
Oh.
Yeah, so just what we were talking about earlier, having the tanks inside the point there at Hill 400 on the map, Hill 400, so powerful because you can shoot HE at the trees. If you hit the tree, then it just like splash damages everybody below it, and we just saw that then. So shout out to Das Alberg for that one. I think we're over to Das Alberg again actually for the next one.
Yeah. And again, the Germans are pouring in Team Phoenix. Very nice little push here. And the Spanish still mostly in that little sector down there at the riverside. Bring back, goddammit, Ficker. And APK. Oh! Ernst, you dick. Yeah, zoom on him, the fucker. Zoom in on him.
Name and shame about to come up.
Yeah, I mean, that's I don't know what's funnier, like the lack of loyalty there, or Altberg's amazing laugh. Like, he literally creases, which is amazing. Somebody last weekend or last recapping, I think they said like the best thing for them about the seasonal is Altberg's laugh. So that's for them, that one.
We do have kill switch inside the hard cap here.
Yeah, well, kill switch is legendary for just being a one-man army in the point.
He's gonna have to.
Yeah.
And we see the observe mark coming out for us, which means these guys are going to be in trouble for artillery in very short time. Like that. That's... It is It is wonderful to be on the artillery squad, isn't it? I like that.
I love it when you just call it and it works.
Yeah.
So, was that even from this week?
I don't think so.
I don't think that was even from this week.
I think that was from the previous, but it was still a good clip.
Great clip. Well done. Everyone from 5FS and Tri-Rex weeks ago, and that's Albert. Classic Garth.
At this point. Yeah, with this building in control by EG.
Some nice clips,
I
but
don't
more.
see Tri-Rex
Give us
stopping
more,
this
guys.
cap.
Yeah, send us more clips.
Oh,
that's a
huge
great
Arctic
shell.
Wow.
That's massive. EG absolutely needed that.
Yeah, this
Looks
is
like we
what I
should see the
meant
cap
with
here.
annihilate
Just-
the enemy artillery.
Yeah.
It's crucial on Foy.
Absolutely, and I think you mentioned earlier as well, Connection, how that was such a testing moment for them with their attack just completely failing.
Yeah.
At this point. Yeah, with this building in control by EG, I don't see Tri-Rex stopping this cap.
Oh,
that's a
huge
great
Arctic
shell.
Wow.
That's massive. EG absolutely needed that. Looks like we should see the cap here in just.
Yeah, I didn't count the blueberries, but there's a few there. All right, we do have more. I'm pretty sure they're from this weekend.
Im Train drinne. Läuft jetzt rüber Richtung Gehöft. Ja, die sorgen hier richtig für Alarm, aber hier ist gerade niemand in der Nähe. Da vorne trifft jetzt Maynard auf Jason. Oh, der läuft oben vorbei, er hört ihn nicht und sie laufen aneinander vorbei. Oh mein Gott! Jetzt müsst ihr ihn doch hören, er hat geschossen, du musst ihn doch sehen! Lauf nicht weg! Lauf nicht weg! Doch, jetzt, er hat sich rumgedreht, er sieht ihn. Maynard.
Oh my god!
They're literally next to each other. I had a moment like that as well with the line and ESPT, like right at the start on AA battery. There's a bit where there's like literally a hedge, and then on either side there's players from each team, and they're both like shooting like straight out from the hedge within like a meter of each other, and they're like you can literally just see them both like face on, just shooting somebody else when they're literally standing next to each other.
Even if you're not a native German speaker, I think you could.
You could pick that one up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I almost put your clip in their Connection where you it looked like your game was going to crash for like a solid like 2 seconds, and then the tank explodes, and it's like, thank God we're back.
Yeah, it was like that right at the beginning. I think I had to reload the game up just before the stream. That got disconnected before I managed to actually get up on the game. And then you had the original transport truck going down at the beginning. I froze there when the arty was coming in, and then you got that tank. So I kind of just tried to stay quite high up in the sky.
Stay high up and
yeah, I don't know what's going on.
This game, you gotta love it. Last one.
What we love to see. And STDB bombing run is gonna clear it.
Oh, that was a good bombing run. That might have saved them.
Lee with a fucking clutch bombing run.
1, 2. They've only got 5 people left. 5 people left to really contest this.
Yep.
STB's got the spawns.
Absolutely blowing balls out there.
Yeah.
That was a big bombing run. I want to watch that one again.
What we love to see. And STDB bombing run is gonna clear it.
Oh, that was a good bombing run. That might have saved them.
Lee with a fucking clutch bombing run.
1, 2. They've only got 5 people left. 5 people left to really contest this.
Yep.
STB's got the spawns.
Honestly, you can make the whole clip section just out of that one game. Like
what? Gone.
I was just gonna say, with the bit with the Stuart driving around the cemetery, like I didn't even manage to clip that, but it's so good.
What gets me is his deep voice. Did you guys hear it? I can't even like try and react. It's such a deep voice. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but yeah, logical Lee there. This week's candidate for blown balls. So well done, Lee. just send a DM to Connection and he'll sort you out.
Otherwise, I'll do a good job. Just one sub.
Blows those balls like a bad boy.
Blow his balls.
Amazing. Okay, well, they're the clips. Make sure you keep clipping them, like Connection said. Keep posting them on the Discord. Just even if you don't clip them, I try and like search through. As you can see, I like missed one from a previous week, but I do try and search through everybody's streams and the clips on their streams to find the good ones for you. How I found that Captain Dirch one, amazing. But yeah, so thanks for all the people who have clipped. Thanks for the streamers for casting the games. As always, like, you know, it takes a lot of time and effort from them, and again, just for the love of the game. So fair play to them for bringing us all those games. And the standard is so high now, I think. It's really great. And yeah, keep posting them, guys. And yeah, well done to all the players involved there, except the heinous team kill by whoever it was in Trirex or oh no, it wasn't Trirex, was it? It was 501st or somebody. Team Phoenix just trying to take out their own. The guy's satcheling the tank. Don't shoot him with the rocket. Like, come on. But yeah, and obviously, you know, we've come to the end now. But thanks. So there we go. Wrong slide. Thanks so much to Soxxes for joining us. It's been amazing.
Yeah, thanks again for having me here. Awesome experience.
Yeah, our absolute pleasure. And you know, sharing what you did today with us is like really great and like more than we could have ever hoped for. Not just for the stream, but like to have that website is like more than I was hoping for. Like that's a huge resource for all of us. So
you could say you heard it here first.
Yeah.
Stream.
Yes. But all right, Mul. He says, by the way, is there some correlation between the time into the seasonal and the length of the recaps? Yeah, we go longer and longer. We're like, yeah, we'll keep it shorter. We'll keep it shorter this week. Like, we've tried to like whistle through the games. We've even got fewer games this week. We've still gone longer. But thank you for sticking with us, all the viewers. Thanks as always to the organisers of the seasonal. For putting on this amazing tournament. Thanks to all the players for playing, all of the communities for taking part, being good sports, for taking part in all the ban wave and all the trainings and all the practices and watching each other's streams and VODs so you can work out those crazy tank snipes and all the time and hours that everybody puts into it is really amazing. And thanks as always to Known Connection.
No, thank you. Thank you for hosting this week's. Gives me a little break.
Yeah, well, your turn next week. Even fewer games, so 3-hour show next week, guys.
Yeah, 3-1, and maybe we'll keep you guessing whether to how long this stream will be. But yeah, we honestly do try, but we also try to give you as much information as possible. And if there is only 3 games or 6 games, then we get to go into a little bit more detail. So, but yeah, thank you very much to the streamers. Thank you very much for Soxxes and his team creating that.
Who are we raiding?
Ooh. Guys, I'll leave that with you in the chat.
Check out the SDB shop, guys.
Yeah, awesome. So awesome show, awesome stream. Thanks for doing this recap, guys.
Oh, it's our pleasure. It's our pleasure.
Thank you for joining.
So yeah, chat. Who are we going to raid? Who are we sharing this Hell Let Loose love with? Give us some names here.
I've got Ben Gist. He's only on 3 players, 3 viewers. Just trying to see how many followers he's got.
So we've obviously raided Will before. We've raided Lieutenant Colonel Soundboard. Who else is on? Who we've done before? Maybe that's the only people that we've done before. So anyone else, guys? Just let us know in the chat.
I'm up for Ben Gist if no one else has got it, and you're more than welcome. So Raver.
Yeah, thanks Soul Rover for watching, and like we're literally getting like such an epic like list of previous guests here. It's so cool. Oh, shout out community. I didn't even see Logical Lee redeemed a shout out to community. So yeah, I mean, I modelled the shirt just now. Like
I think you need to do one more step up.
What do you want from me here?
There we go.
Delightful. Okay, so yeah, who are we raiding?
Let's go Ben if no one's saying anything.
How do you spell the guy's name? Because this raid search
Ben,
thing is so bad.
AI, 1, like the number 1, and then ST.
Sweet.
So it's like
There he
Benjish.
is. There he is. All right, guys, go drop Benjish a follow. Share that Hell Let Loose love. Thanks for joining us, as always, and see you next week.
See you later, guys. Take care. Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, Soxxes. Bye-bye.